Hey, Samore Love Bugs, you have now tuned in to my Mob Wives recap. Guys, be sure to subscribe. This is my brand new channel. Also, be sure to share this video on Facebook, Twitter, and wherever the heck you like to share videos, like Google Plus, whatever, okay? Help a sister out. Okay, boo. Alright, so, of course, Mob Wives, I'm on it. You know, I love it. Guys, what do you think about that whole, I hate to like jump back and forth, but what do you think about that whole new sorority sisters? I started watching it, but I was going to do a recap on it, but then I was just like, and I didn't even finish watching it. I was just like, you know what, let me focus on this one right now. I'm going to probably, after I finish putting up this recap, I might check it out if it's not too late. It's like already 11 something, so maybe not. I don't know. It kind of like the way they were talking, it seemed a little bit fake to me. And I don't know, they seem like they're a little over the top, but once again, I only saw the first like maybe 15 minutes, so that was just like a quick judging. But my judging is usually right, but we shall see. I saw some of the other YouTubers were, you know, my YouTube family, they were doing some recaps, like, who did I see do it? I don't think Mike did it, but I'm pretty sure that the Ghetto View did it, and I believe also Ashley Miller did it. But yeah, let me know what you think about it. Is it worth it? As far as like, do you guys watch it? What do you think about it? I know K. Michelle had a lot to say about it as well, and to show her disapproval because she's a member of a sorority, sisters type of thing or whatever. I think she said Delta or something. I don't even know which one she said. But I'm like, girl, your behavior on these reality shows don't be all that good. And now you claiming to be one of them, so you just as bad, boo. I'm sorry. You cannot throw stones. But anyways, moving on. Let's get into this recap for Mob Wives. That's what we are here to talk about. So Natalie, she's telling Karen, you know, they were still having that whole big fight that they were having. She's telling her that her whole family is rats and they're informants, and she was like saying jabbing, saying things to excuse me, get under her skin and make her upset, so maybe she might just go off. I think she's trying to get a lawsuit or something like that. I think she's trying to get herself in the money, because if she's one of those people to go ahead and call the cops, what makes you think she's not going to go a step further and try to sue her and get her for her money? She's just, I feel like that's her plan. That's what she's trying to do at the end of the day. And I'm happy because I didn't even like her from last season. So I'm happy that some people, well, we're going to get into that a little bit. I don't want to jump the gun too quickly. So Drita, while this was going down, Drita was getting more and more pissed because she had already told her, and Big Ange had told her, that families is really off limits. Like, you don't talk about people's family, and what somebody's family did doesn't mean that that's what that person does or did. You know, there's a separation. And once again, you don't talk about people's family. That's like stabbing someone. You know, it's serious. That's what I'm trying to say. It's really serious. Oh, excuse me, I look a little nasty in my throat. But yeah, so she was getting more and more pissed as she was hearing all these things. She did kind of compare the fact that she said that her hands, because you know Drita be quick to throw the hands, is as lethal or as vicious as her mouth, because she doesn't care what she does with her mouth. She's like just really quick to pop off, and she doesn't care what she says. Like, she intentionally says things to hurt people. So moving on from that, Storm, he was like telling Karen that she doesn't have to argue, and he was saying that she's just belligerent and she was drinking, so don't go back and forth with her because it's not even worth it. But you already know she's upset, so ain't nobody trying to air all that when you mad, like, oh, don't worry. But no, I'm gonna worry because she's disrespecting me. You know, you're in the anger mode. You don't want to hear no no rational type of thinking or things to do. Like, get out of here with that. So now I finally hear that Lee, he's doing stuff and helping around the house, because in the last episode, from the way Drita was talking, I kind of felt like he wasn't doing anything at all. Like, he was just at home, laid back, putting the feet up, chilling. But she says, I mean, this isn't that much, but she says that he is helping the kids with their homework and making sure that they're on the right track. He goes over like the words and stuff to make sure they got it down packed and things like that. So he is doing something, because somebody does have to take care of the kids. Otherwise, of course, the work is going to be slacking if there's not two people, or at least someone, to be there in order to make sure that things are going right with that. So at least that's something is better than nothing, while she's mending, or tending, I should say, tending to the stores and stuff like that that Drita has to do. Natalie, she went back to Philly because she was mad at London, because London didn't stand up for her. He didn't have her back. He didn't say things that she wanted him to say. So she got pissed off and she left. So he comes running after her from New York. He comes all the way to Philly to appease her, to try to talk to her. And she just wasn't really receptive to anything that he was trying to say. It's almost like it's like good cop, bad cop type of situation, where he's like the person that's thinking rationally, that wants to do things the right way and stuff like that. And she's just like, no, you gotta listen to me. It's like my way or the highway type of thing. And I just feel like I don't know, I'm not really liking their relationship, just because it seems so one-sided, and I kind of feel like she bullies him. You know, she just goes so hard, and she's just talking about she's not really sure what the future holds for them, because she's starting to see how he is. And I'm just like, he's not even doing he's doing things the right way. He's using his brain. He's not trying to start wars for no reason. I feel like she's trying to start a war so that she will have a good role, so that people could talk about her. Because if you don't do anything, if you have no arch enemy, or, you know, things like that, people are not going to remember you. People are not going to talk about you. They're not going to have anything to say. Just Natalie was there. She looks pretty. But if you're making a ruckus and just acting a big fool, then they will always have something to say. You'll be a trending topic, boo. So she knows exactly what she's doing. She has a few hidden agendas that, of course, she's not going to say, but I see through her. I really do, boo. Karen Gravano and Renee, they go for a stroll, and they just talk about the events that occurred in the previous night. Well, I don't know if it was the previous night, but at the party. And she's, you know, kind of just giving her a little bit of juice of what was going down between her and between Natalie as well. Renee says that she's going to call Angela, a.k.a. Big Ange, and she's going to talk to her, because they were friends too long for her to allow like someone like Natalie to just come and tear their friendship apart like that. But she was like, it's going to be like a main condition is that she can't say anything about Natalie to her. She doesn't want to hear about Natalie. She doesn't want to see Natalie, anything. None of that. So I'm like, okay, let's see how that goes. At least she's trying, you know. At least she's trying to get her friend back and trying to mend the relationship. Because, yeah, that's a long time to let one person come and just kind of like get between you guys like that. Big Ange goes to the boss of all bosses, a.k.a. Victoria Gotti, who we have seen in Real Housewives of New Jersey. And she is trying to get some advice, talking to her about like Renee and how she actually, see, Big Ange is not a stupid woman. So she sees right through Natalie, or she doesn't necessarily see right through her, but she's beginning to see through her. And she's saying that one of the big problems, big issues that she's seeing may be Natalie and her mouth. And then another one is Renee, because Renee, she likes to do so, but she don't like it to happen to her. She'll do things, but then when you do it back to her, it's a big, big problem. So, following that, you know, they just talk a little bit about Victoria Gotti's father, how John Gotti, and, you know, of course, we've all heard about John Gotti, how he was a big-time mobster, and it's just like from the little clips that they showed, he just was like one of those people that just he didn't even have to like really demand respect. It was just like his presence demanded respect. And the way Victoria Gotti talks, she talks like a boss. I guess she's watched her father and she kind of picked up a lot from him. So she's able to give a good message and to try to tell Big Ange what it is that she needs to do. She also had said that with her friends, she she makes them act the way she wants them to act. I'm like, okay, excuse me. So they do what you say. It's pretty much what you saying right now. I'm happy I was if I was her friend and y'all see this, I would type of, reevaluate the whole friendship, because I'll be like, hold on. It just kind of starts making you think, like, wow, so this woman is making me act a certain way in order to be her friend? Oh, so that's what it really is. Drita and Big Ange, they have a sit down, and it was also with Natalie, and they're just kind of telling her that she was hitting really like below the belt when she was talking to Karen, and she's out of control. And it just seemed like it was just going, in one ear, out the other. Nothing was really retained, and it was just like they were speaking to the air. Gone with the wind, that type of thing. It was just floating. From there, Renee Graziano and Karen Gravano, they go to Karen's new house, and she reveals that there was a woman in the house where she used to live with Storm. It wasn't really her house, it was actually his house, but she stayed there so often that she pretty much considered it to be her house as well. She said something about she overslept, and when she went to him, he kind of was like, oh, you're still here. And then, like, from behind the scenes emerges this woman who looked like she was like a deer caught in headlights, and she said that she hit him, and she was going off on the woman like, who the F are you, and what the F are you doing here, who you here for? And the girl just kind of like ran out. So there was no real closure at that moment, so she doesn't really know what happened. And it seems like it really like tears her up and tears her apart, because she's taking her daughter all the way from Arizona, trying to like build a family and things like that, and just create a better life for herself. And it's like stuff is already hitting the fan, and she hasn't even officially moved as yet. And she doesn't want her daughter to be around like arguing and this and that. It messes up her trust with this dude, because it's like, if I'm here in New York and this is what's going down, like what actually was going down when I wasn't here, when I was in Arizona? What was you doing? I mean, she knows his lifestyle. He's a promoter. So she knows that he's always around chicks and stuff like that. And with those types of things, entertainment, being a promoter, you do gotta know that there are going to be women throwing themselves, especially now he's on TV and stuff. There's going to be women throwing themselves. There's going to be women trying to test her. All kind of stuff is going to be happening like that. And he has to be strong enough to not fall into the traps. And she's going to have to eventually determine if it's something she can handle or not. Or if she'd rather do all this on her own. So Big Ange's son, he's back in Rikers. Well, I don't think he was in Rikers before, but he's in Rikers now. And that's because he violated parole, and when he went up to take his like pee test or whatever, he was found dirty. So he's back on drugs. I don't think he's done things that were like stealing or robbing or things like that. I think his main thing is that he's an addict. That's what it seems like to me. They didn't say those exact words, but from everything that they're saying, like he has a problem, this and that, he's pretty much an addict. So he, unfortunately, didn't get to see the birth of his child because of his foolishness. So hopefully this was like a wake-up call, and Drita did say that to Big Ange. Maybe this is a wake-up call for him to be able to change his life around and get himself together, especially now that he has a child. You can't, and this is his second strike, so he gets one more strike, he's going to be away for a while. So he definitely needs to sit down and take that time that he's in Rikers and just reevaluate everything that he's doing, and just say for once, like, I'm going to take control of my life and not allow these drugs to control me. So Storm, he goes to see Karen, and she seems like she's like upset, like, okay, why didn't you call and tell me that you're coming? He's like, I gotta announce myself now? Like, since when? I guess he is like, okay, so everything changed, because he's trying to pretty much act like nothing ain't happened. Like, he dead was like looking at her when she opened the door, like everything was cool and that everything was fine. But she didn't let go of it so easy. It's not over. maybe I ain't argue with you, I ain't call you to cuss you out or nothing like that, but that doesn't mean it's over. You done got it twisted. He must not know women too well. I mean, or maybe he was really hopeful, hoping that perhaps his smile would make her forget about everything. Not so, especially when you're a successful woman and you're not depending on no man. You're definitely not going to take no foolishness. So that's exactly what happened. But he was being like a real jerk when he was talking to her. And it's like he was almost like laughing it off and just pretending like everything was all good. So, like stuff that he was doing and laughing and just saying little smart remarks and stuff like that, it would have pissed me off too. Like, it was pissing her off. And she's just like, what are you doing? Like, and then at the end of that, like when they finished talking, she kind of was just like, yo, we are done. I don't want you in my house. Get out of my house. He's like, I'm not going anywhere. I'm like, what is security doing backstage? She just said she didn't want this man in her house. And they just like not doing anything at all. I guess you got to be about to beat him with a pot before these people is going to get up and actually like separate them or escort him out. So anyway, she's just like, I don't want to be with you anymore. That's it. And that's what I finally see some type of reaction from him. He's like, what you need? Like, what? You know, that's when you saw his face kind of do that screw face to really show that he felt some type of way about her saying that. Like, all right, you're taking it to the next level. It's not that serious. But no, it is that serious because now a main thing that kind of puts these relationships together, bonds them, has been broken. So it's like now you're going to have to start building back that trust again. And you know how they say, you know how the sayings go, it's trust is like a freaking mirror. Once you break it, you can try to put your little tape, you can try to put a little bit of glue up in there, you can try your best, you can look in it. But you still gonna see them cracks. You still gonna know it was shattered at one point. There's no way you can really mend it. And that's exactly what's happening here, because now she's gonna be wondering what kind of stuff is happening when she goes out and things like that. And it's not a good look. And I feel like at the end of the day, she's probably the more successful one out of the relationship. She's the one that's well known. I mean, before this, I didn't really know who he is, and he's from New York. I don't recall hearing about him. And I used to be a party promoter for several years, unless he's a little bit newer. I mean, I wasn't no big time like that, but my name rang a few bells back in those days. And I mean, you don't make millions of dollars or anything like that. You can get more depending on your clientele as time goes on. But in the beginning, I mean, I don't know how far he is in the game. I mean, he's probably a little well known because he got with her, right? Unless she just liked the way he looked and he charms his way into her heart. I don't really know their full relationship or how they met or whatever. But, you know, once again, they don't make that much money. This is pretty much most likely her house that she bought with her money. So it's like at the end of the day, she doesn't really need him, but she would like to have him. So, yeah, that's when he's got to start worrying, because if she wants to go, she can go. So I guess we shall see what happens with that whole issue with them two. And Natalie, it looks like people are starting once again to see her for her true colors little by little. And then other Natalie, she's about to hit the scenes, to come up in here. So I think she's going to stir up a little bit of trouble and kind of warn them too. Sometimes it takes an outside person to kind of warn people. Oh, and just kind of back to the whole Renee situation. Her and Big Ange, they do meet up and they start talking, but it wasn't really going anywhere yet. And then somebody comes out of the car. And I'm thinking that it might be Miss Gotti, Victoria Gotti, but I'm not really sure. The only reason why I say that is because she had on the all black like she did when we saw her earlier in the episode. And the leg kind of seemed like similar, but I guess we shall see. But Renee looked like she was a little perturbed, you know, a little upset, because it's like, all right, we're supposed to be having a one-on-one. Why would you bring somebody else into this? So you know how she is. She takes things to the heart. And she's probably going to get really annoyed, and she might even leave, but we shall see. Okay, tout le monde. Alright, thanks for watching. Be sure to stay fabulous, live free, and soar limitless. I will see you in the next one. Au revoir. Later.